Hello everybody, welcome back. Graham here. Welcome back to another episode. I was getting ready for this episode and I wanted to tell you very much about prepping myself for the radiotherapy. I got a little bit sidetracked on the last episode because I told you about my high blood pressure and how I dealt with certain issues that was going on in my health. But I want to get back on track now and tell you the story about the radiotherapy, or start to tell you the story about radiotherapy. Before I started the radiotherapy, I got an appointment to go back up and for them to do a test, or what they do, they size everything up. So you go up, have a scan, and the scan actually sizes your prostate, identifies the area where the prostate has cancer, and it measures everything and sizes everything, and then they obviously put that into the data to allow, when you go for your radiotherapy, they can pick up that data and that targeted area, and then the radiotherapy, or should I say the radioactive, the radiation can actually be targeted to that area. So I went up and had my scan. They sized it all up. It was successful, because not everyone is successful apparently. And I was given all the information I needed in preparing for my 6-week, 5-a-week dosage of radiation. A couple of things they give you. You have to have a clear, you have to make sure that your bowel you've had a bowel movement, it's clear. You have to have at least a litre of water before you actually have your session every day. So it provokes a few happy memories about this. You have to prepare, because if you empty your bladder before you have your dose of radiation, your bladder is then empty, and then obviously there can be other complications. So bear in mind, you have to have a bowel movement in the morning. You have to have a litre of water prior to going in to having your session. And a lot of men found that difficulty. There was a difficulty attached to all of that. Even I fell foul on one session. I just couldn't hold, my bladder just couldn't hold the water. I booked all my appointments for early morning, purely because my routine is, when we get up, I take my wife off to work, we have breakfast, I do the packed foods for Morgan, I take him off to school, and then the intention was for me to then travel up to the hospital and have my radiotherapy. So you have to get yourself into a very regimental frame of mind, and I found it quite easy, although I fell foul of having to I emptied my bladder many times up at the hospital and had to furiously start drinking water. Going up to the hospital in the morning was no problem. I didn't have any worries, I didn't have any fears. I met some lovely people up there, all having the same, although at different stages through their radiotherapy. And I had several conversations on a morning with these people. I must say, all very much a lot older than me. I was always the youngest when in this waiting room. Very nice. It was really nice. It was a big seating area, and there was probably about a good dozen of us, all scheduled in, for half an hour sessions, and had a bit of time to have a chat with the people before me or just after me. And it was more or less the same people. So my routine was very much to have that water, or start drinking that litre of water, probably about half an hour before I started to go up or make my way up to the hospital. So I used to have it in the car, and I had this water bottle, and I would be, taking drinks and, drinking, every 10 minutes, because that's pretty much what you've got to do. You've got to drink the water, allow it then to process through, and get to the point where your bladder is full. There was several times I was sitting in that waiting room, and my mind had set on a certain time that I was due to go in. And if they were running late, that was it. I was done. I had to empty my bladder. I could not hold it in. Because I don't know if you've ever tried holding a litre of water that had processed through your body and into your bladder. It's pretty hard. I remember when I was, younger, and I used to go out for a night out, and after the second pint, that was it. I was backwards and forwards to the the toilet. And it was funny because there was many people who were either drinking that water when they got there, and they got there at probably 20 minutes before they were called in. And I found it easier to start drinking just as I dropped off Morgan, and then I was driving up to the hospital. But anyway, more about the actual process. Once, I was sitting there and had the water and I was comfortable, I was called in, and off goes everything. On with the gown, lift up the gown. They set the machine as in the coordinates and the measurements, and it was a process of backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, targeting the prostate. And the first one went well, didn't feel any side effects, and I thought, hey, this is pretty easy. I'm going to fly through this. But anyway, there was more to come. I'll tell you that a bit more on the next episode. Thanks again for joining me. I thoroughly enjoy telling this story. It makes me feel a whole load better. Thanks again. See you next time, and bye for now. Bye.